Hey, what's going on, everybody? So I want to clear a couple of things up that have been in debate. We've actually heard Alex Rodriguez mention Teacherman and Richard Shank, and talking about how it's crazy to think that you're dropping your shoulder and getting into this position. Now, unless we train things into our consciousness, so it becomes part of our subconscious while we're up at bat, we're never going to be successful. So I took a couple of things into consideration, and I look at the way that Alex Rodriguez used to hit, and where he has a hard time conceptualizing the approach that Teacherman has. He's been taught his whole life that we should be down on a ball, down on a ball, down on a ball. All of the T drill that we've ever done is down on a ball, down on a ball. That's fantastic. However, when we set our eyes to a higher level than where the T is set up, where soft toss is coming from, we set ourselves up where when down on the ball is right behind the baseball. All right. So at no point in time in Alex Rodriguez's career did he ever have an ugly swing. He's got one of my favorite swings to analyze of all time. All right. He's a big body. He's strong. He's able to keep that center of gravity about as well as anybody. And now with the closing ungranted, I would like to show you one thing that I did notice about Alex Rodriguez's swing, in just his pre-swing. When he'd be there, he'd be in a position with his hands back, much more flexible than I can even get to, with his hands where if he brought the bat down into a position, he would have been right in the middle of his delt. So he's shooting from that same area that I am talking about. So when Rodriguez would be there, his center of gravity would be very, very comfortable. He'd have a nice little balance, and his balance point was right there. But as his thoracic spine started to just spin, and it would start from somewhere over there, that's where he'd get behind the ball. So keep this in mind. We teach a kid to hit off a tee straight down because his eyes are set up in a position where he's straight up. But if you take those eyes and you set them up to where a pitcher's going to be coming and throwing from, holy cow, it just changes where that trajectory is coming from. And if your shoulder is driving to the ball, and we've all seen his beautiful follow-throughs and home run swings where he's off one-handed, there's only one way that he can do that. If he implemented all of these concepts that we have talked about, and he's an amazing hitter. I was able to watch him hit low balls off the dirt, sit on it, get down with it, and stay with it, but he was able to do that because he was so one way. So I mean, in compliments to Jeff Fry, maybe that's one way that maybe I agree with him. When you're working off a tee, maybe you should be straight down. I'm also a believer that you should work on swings where you're imagining smashing a pad right here. Because I am the believer that if you have to speed up to a ball, you're not a good hitter. You want that speed beforehand. You want to hold all that quickness back. That's what gives us more time to, create our own reaction. I was my own worst enemy when I was a kid. That's why maybe you didn't hear about me. But looking forward, I want to be able to pass a lot of the things that I'm able to, comprehend, maybe just a little bit differently than the rest, and be able to deliver to you. Because there's a lot of differences, and we need to talk about them and start combining them. Because we are all smart baseball guys, and we can all get to the exact same idea. It's just, remember, this was Alex Rodriguez. He was so beautiful. He'd have his chin right on his shoulder. All right? And when that ball would come in, boom! See ya. With respect to you. God bless y'all.